We're talking actors and directors who put on the shows.
We're talking playwrights and designers who you'll want to know.
From the very first rehearsal to the final curtain call.
We might be off Broadway, but we're talking about it all.
'Cause we're two local gals
with global pals. It's everything, everything, everything theater.
with Benita
And Ellen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Everything Theater Podcast, the podcast where we talk about
everything theater. Yes, and I'm being dramatic right now, right? Everything theater.
everything theater.
Gotta start it off the right way. Hi, everybody. I'm Benita Zahn.
And I'm Ellen Cribbs, and this really is our Everything Theater episode because we're talking about the Tony Awards.
Yes, we have a wonderful guest, a returning guest with us today, Helene Galek, and she's the everything in New York City. You perform and you write and you are you're not an agent, but you're
casting director.
Casting director, right?
Yes.
And gal about town. And as we got started, Helene said, "This is her time of year." And wow, what a great time of year! What a season on Broadway, Helene.
It is. A lot of time it's time. You know, sometimes you have money, not the time. Sometimes you have time, not the money. So I've had both. So I'm doing a rush job. In fact, I just saw Jellicle Ball yesterday. Yesterday was actually my New York City anniversary. And to quote Carrie Bradshaw, I've been dating the city. I think we're in love. I think it's serious. It's been many decades and I'm still here.
Great.
And I'm actually going to, and I wasn't going to do this. I saw Death of a Salesman twice in my life, and one was just a few years ago. But my actor friends are going, you have to go see this one. So on Sunday afternoon, before I go to my Tony party, I'm going to see Death of a Salesman.
It is a must.
Yes.
It is.
Yes,
we got to see that. Ellen, did you see it?
Not yet. It's on my list.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Somebody had posted that it's been years since they saw Nathan Lane disappear into a role. He disappears into this role.
That's impressive because most of the time, and you know this from casting, most of the time you get cast for who you are, your quirks, your humor, your essence. And so when you can do that, that's wow, what an accomplishment.
Yeah. And I had just seen Laurie Metcalf, and I can't remember the name of the play before where she dies.
Yes, The Little Bear Ridge Road.
Yes, it was a big title. She was great.
Saw that. Yes, I saw that too.
Great.
I got to meet her. She's really something.
And then she moved right into this role.
Yes.
She's got to go someplace where there's cotton candy and lollipops after these two shows.
Schmigadoon.
She moved to Schmigadoon.
Very good. So I don't know who beats Nathan Lane.
You see, this is interesting that you said that because I didn't get to see Giant. I don't know if either of you.
No, I didn't. I'll tell you an interesting comment, but go ahead.
Sure, no, and then but my friend did. So she said that's going to be interesting when she saw it, and I saw it, and I was seeing Death of a Salesman. I said, see, this is where we get. It's not who's the better actor. I like to think of it. I don't know if that exists. Who actually outdoes themselves, like who gives the performance. That's how I like to interpret it. But we all know awards are not always democratic. There's favorites. And how are you going to compare two greats?
Right.
Someone
who I respect greatly had gone to see Giant. And their comment, it was a visual. They went like this to me.
Thumbs down, huh?
Thumbs down. And they felt that you couldn't hear. There was a lot of mumbling that went on. So, listen, if any of you saw it and went, oh my God, that's the best thing, drop us a little note. So I didn't get to see it. And in fact, I was sort of torn because we had a big weekend in the city, chose not to see that and went to see Maybe Happy Ending instead. Which is so clever.
It's great.
A great show.
It starts slow.
Yeah. And then picks up. I really wanted to see Giant, but this is an interesting conversation talking about seeing shows for the Tonys that the ticket prices for Giant were so astronomical. there was like $600, and I was like, I can't, I can't
Yeah.
spend
Oh,
that much
God.
money to see a Broadway show. So that is, something we
Right,
continue talking about on the podcast is the accessibility to see these wonderful shows.
right. So we have Will Harrison in Punch. I'm not hearing much. Nathan Lane in Death of a Salesman, John Lithgow in Giant, Daniel Radcliffe in Every Brilliant Thing,
Mm.
and Mark Strong in Oedipus. What do you think? Where's your pick? Is it
It's,
really just between those two guys that we've
I
been
really,
talking
yeah,
about?
I think so. Yeah, and I love Daniel Radcliffe, but he's adorable. It's funny, they did such a great job on the newest version of Merrily We Roll Along. It was filmed, and I saw it as a SAG voter, and they did a great job because they knew they were filming for a film, not just for posterity. And I'm so happy that he was a little boy and he grew up into such a, wonderful actor. But it is probably going to go down. It's probably going to be between John and Nathan. What's interesting? I'm a big Rocky Horror fan. I was one of the kids. I right after I moved to New York, I was taken to the Rocky Horror in the Village where you brought your props and started learning the callbacks and used to go a lot. And I loved it. I love this version. I actually know Sam Pinkleton, and he did an amazing job. Luke Evans is great because, to me as an actor, to do a role that someone else has put their stamp on. Tim Curry did the movie. Here's the thing. I saw Rocky Horror in 2001, and it would have stayed longer except for 9/11. Tom Hewitt, who is an amazing actor, he recently was in Hadestown. He was an incredible Rocky, but he was up against Nathan Lane. So, producers. And this is why I feel bad. Luke Evans is really fabulous, but he's up against Joshua Henry in Ragtime. And I love Ragtime. That was
Oh,
amazing.
yes.
I missed the Broadway one. Do you know where I saw Ragtime live for the first time? Because I read the book and saw the movie. Was Playhouse in the Park in Albany. They did a great job. They were wonderful.
Yeah.
And but the whole production was so superb. And I'm like, yes,
We also just saw, that was one of the trio that I had to get in. We just
yes,
saw
that was
Brad.
just,
There are two standing O's during the show.
yeah, it was just, and I love Cassie Levy too. So I've seen her in several shows. So.
Just
So
the
you think
way
it's
the
Joshua?
the audience lifts out from under the stage in the beginning is like my
Oh yeah.
favorite opening to a show of like all time.
Just everything they did was brilliant. So as I said, it's hard because you can have different kinds of wonderful.
So
Yeah.
in that category, best performance of an actor in a musical, we have Nicholas Christopher in Chess, Luke Evans for The Rocky Horror Show, Joshua Henry for Ragtime, Sam Tutty in Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, and Brandon Aronowitz, is that how it's pronounced? Aronowitz in Ragtime. So you think it's going to Joshua Henry?
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know. Now, Brandon Aronowitz plays the brother,
yes.
correct? He
Yeah.
was brilliant.
Oh yeah. As I said, it's hard to say because he was, it's a different role, it's a different
Right.
requirement.
But he's no Joshua Henry.
Yeah, we got to go to Joshua Henry.
Yeah. But that's, if you can go to Tix, go to the Broadway today's tickets, that's it, online, and get yourself a ticket for that one.
Yeah.
So then let's move over to best performance by an actress in a leading role in a musical. You got Sarah Chase in Schmigadoon, Stephanie Shu in The Rocky Horror, Cassie Levy, is it Levy?
Yeah.
Yeah, in Ragtime, and Marla Mindell in Titanic, and Christiane Pitts and Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York. I want to back up for a sec before we go any further. The performance is obviously fabulous, but is it just me? But ever since Dear Evan Hansen, I find a lot of the new musicals all sound like Dear Evan Hansen. And the music from Carrying a Cake sounds like that to me. Like you could plug it in. After Rent, everything was any note you could sing, I could sing louder. And we had a lot of that. And now we've got a lot of this, like, yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't know. I haven't thought about that.
I find that with, I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I find that with singers. I know when I hear singers, there's a certain style, and I go, does anybody like, even, when I've had auditions or seen singers in these new musicals, I feel that they all have this singing style thing. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, Ellen.
No, but that's part of the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say I saw Two Strangers and I really enjoyed it, but one of my thoughts was that the music didn't stick with me. And I'm finding that more and more in new musicals, that like I really enjoy it, but there's nothing I walk out of the theater humming or remembering, So that was my takeaway on that. But the performances were wonderful.
And that's been a conversation for a while.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why Schmigadoon lands so solidly, because they use the themes from the old tried and true sing it when you leave musicals. And for me, it became a game at one point, going, oh, I know this one. I know, what show is this that they're basing it on? And then they're on to the next one. And you had to keep up, and it was fun. The show was fun.
And that's something I was curious to ask your guys' thoughts about. I know we're kind of jumping. I don't know. Should we finish actress and then come back to this?
It's up to you.
For women, we're used to jumping, going back.
We'll jump around. But my main thought this year was like looking at what we've got for Best Musical with The Lost Boys, Schmigadoon, Titanic, and Two Strangers. What a difference in tone. And when I heard, and unfortunately I was supposed to see Schmigadoon and then wasn't able to go in the end, but I've heard nothing but raves. And but when I heard it was nominated so often, it's tied with The Lost Boys for the most nominations. And I thought, really? Schmigadoon? Like, what a goofy show. And can such a goofy show win Best Musical? But as we've talked about a lot, Panita, that the world really just kind of wants happy and fun now. And is that, something that's going to push it over the edge to take it?
And the thing, though, at the heart of Schmigadoon is a real story with heart.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think you necessarily have to be, I think what you're saying is you don't have to necessarily have a deep story laden with meaning. I mean, yes, Ragtime has both of it. In fact, not that we want to veer into politics, but it hit me differently now. It was a piece of history when I saw it decades ago. Now I feel like I'm living it, and it was way, everybody in the audience, we were like so emotional because it was hitting us differently against the background of what's going on. But you're right, sometimes there's a snobbery, let's say in the Oscars with comedy, and sometimes you can have the most perfect comedy, or like you said, something that feels good, but if it's done well, but that tends to be overlooked. So, okay, well, now that I hear that, I will go see that this summer.
Well, it's like the year where Avenue Q won over Wicked, like it was just a show that was done so phenomenally
and it was clever.
Well.
Yeah.
And clever. Yeah.
So it's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's hard to compare.
And Schmigadoon has a great tap number. Come on, ladies.
Oh, well.
I am a pushover for a fabulous
there you
tap
go.
Number.
Yes.
That moves it up for me right there. And it's fun seeing that, because that is, if you will, old-fashioned theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
And takes a certain talent. And we talk about kids coming up being triple threats.
Yeah.
And you needed a place to be able to shine as a triple threat. Otherwise, what was the point of taking all those tap classes as a kid?
Yeah.
So back to the women.
Yes. What are you guys thinking for Best Performance by Actress in a Musical?
I like Cassie. I'm gonna
Cassie in Ragtime.
She's a favorite.
I'm going to go with it. As good as Sarah was.
Yeah.
I'm going with Cassie.
Yeah,
she's. There was a powerful quietness to her performance.
Yes.
That's my vote.
Yeah. Because
and
she had
you
to,
there too.
She had to change. I mean, I think they all went through changes, but she really had to. She she had a different comfort zone she had to leave
Yeah.
and go into, and it was, yeah,
And to walk into shoes that like was such a iconic original performance, and then like, you are reviving that role.
I just got, my heart gives out to all the actors, as I said, who've taken on roles. I'm sure what Alan Cummings went through, you know, taking a role that Joel Grey put a stamp on. I really just I give it credit to the director too, because I said it's got to be tricky. You can't change everything. You have to keep some things, but then you got to find ways where you can make it your own.
Well, this is my thought about Best Revival. I wanted to talk about this because do you ladies think that the point of a revival and to award a play Best Revival, is it in like keeping with the spirit of the show? Is it in reimagining the show in a completely different light? What are your thoughts on what a revival should be? Because I feel like there's a very different, and we got like Cats
Good
the
question.
Jellicle Ball is so vastly different,
Love it.
you know, versus Ragtime, which was pretty much the same, but just pared down, you know?
Yeah.
That's yours, Helene.
I know, I'm thinking that's such a great cry. I love it. I guess it can be both. You know, I mean, I saw Cats in the 80s. I have to confess something. Being a New Yorker, you know, Cats, I'm like, oh, I gotta go see that. I was dating somebody out of town and he really wanted to go see it. And I'm like, all right, let me go see it. And you know, I danced in musicals, so I said, sure, I'm gonna enjoy that part. Because I think I went with that attitude, I actually liked it. And I got to see, after Betty Buckley left, I don't know, right after, but I saw Lonnie Ackerman do Grisabella. And she's a veteran. And I got to meet her years later. We were in an acting class together. And she's in jeans and a t-shirt. And we're introducing ourselves. I didn't recognize her. And I went, "You're Lonnie Ackerman?" Because I'm used to her doing, like, you know, all the big musicals. She made me cry in memory, and I told her that, and I didn't expect to after hearing it. Anyway, so I did see Cats. I listened to the music. I kind of liked it. And going to Jellicle Ball, I just admired what they did. They didn't copy it. The actors were not dressed as cats. It was like Cats meets Rocky Horror meets RuPaul. And it was like a celebration. First of all, I love they separated the singers and dancers because the dancing is very tough, and so is the score. And different sizes, gender bending. There was a lot of heart in it. And then, of course, Andre the Shield, who is working more now. Probably. I saw him when he originated the Wiz, the Wizard in the Wiz way back when. And so you know, he's amazing. So it's both. I think it's both because they just took the Jellicle Ball, took Cats, took the essence, but made it their own, gave it a different background, gave it a different philosophy. But the philosophy was they were celebrating instead of being a competition. They had a fun, like a getting awards, like you would do RuPaul. But in the end, they were celebrating all of them. Nice. So. And then Ragtime, as I said, I think maybe they brought it back because it's an important piece of history, but it's now an important piece of history that we're seeing today. And I know a lot of times, like with Giant, I think with a lot of plays, they're bringing it back for the next generation, but also to go, hey, wake up. This is not it's not a history anymore. It is current. So anyway.
You know, technically, I found two of the shows, at least two, they're using the stage more in the sense moving, the rotating stage that I didn't see for years. You know, it was they would rake, but with minimal scenery and a lot. You know, Death of a Salesman doesn't move the floor, but minimal scenery, evocative scenery. We saw that 2-3 years ago with Sunset Boulevard, just creating the sense of. But the stage moved in Schmigadoon. The stage floor, I should say, moved in Schmigadoon. It moved in Ragtime. I'm trying to think. I feel like one other thing. Strangers, yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. Somebody does something, it looks like catches on, then everybody does it for a while. I don't know what I'm throwing out there. It's good. Somebody pick it up. But it feels like that's
I mean, I saw it many, many years ago. I think that was something they did in the
right.
60s,
And then it
70s
stopped.
too. Yes. Because you know what? I actually remember this is when I was very impressed. Michelle Lee was doing Seesaw.
Hmm.
And it was really funny. The turntable, and it was during previous, so the turntable with Ken Howard was turning from, I don't know, something into her apartment, and
Right.
it was off the grid, and it was shaking, and she's going, and she had to pick a chair up. She goes, boy, this place is falling apart. And you know, the audience lost it. It was great. So that I always remember that turntable.
Yeah.
Doing
I hadn't seen that in a long time. So anyway, who are you giving the female best in a musical? Cassie?
I
Casey?
am, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about in play? We've got Rose Byrne in Fallen Angels, Carrie Coon in Bug, Susanna Flood in Liberation, Leslie Manville in Oedipus, and Kelly O'Hara in Fallen Angels.
Well, I just saw Fallen Angels 2 days ago. Both women were good, but I'm edging to Kelly O'Hara.
I adore her on stage.
Yeah.
I saw her in not on Broadway, but off Broadway, the Days of Wine and Roses. And you know, you could say a lot what you wanted about it, but very difficult music. And she just did it. And I was like,
Yeah.
to meet her, I bow down to you. But I just liked her. I said they're both good, but I just find she edges out. It's got to be hard when you're the two of you, you know, are up for
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two from the same show.
Yes.
That's hard. But she was great in Days of Wine and Roses. The play the revival had its own issues.
Has its issues, but she was, and so was God, who the man was.
I can't think either.
Or something. We're gonna look it up, but he was amazing. Yeah, the acting.
Yeah.
I'll also point out, I was reading some fun facts about this Tonys, and it said there are 62 first-time nominees and 2 acting categories made up entirely of Broadway debuts.
Wow.
Wow.
That is exciting.
Isn't that exciting?
Brian D'Arcy.
Brian D'Arcy. Yeah.
I knew there was a B somewhere.
I said, you know what? I got the computer right here. Let me just.
Yeah, right. No, good. Thank you. Yes.
And he was great. I really loved the performance. That's old history, right?
Yeah.
Old history. That is history.
Yeah.
Let move on to best performance by an actress. We just had that. Well, no, in a featured role, you've got Betsy. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. Adam in Liberation.
Yeah.
Mary Louise Burke in The Ballisters. Aya Cash in Giant, Laurie Metcalf in Death of a Salesman, and June Squibb in Marjorie Prime, which is a revival.
Yeah, I saw Marjorie Prime. June Squibb, I don't know if she ever got it. It was so cold that the night that I saw it, not only was it cold, the air conditioning was on in the theater, and all I wanted to do was go home. But I actually worked with June Squibb on what was to be an indie film back in the 80s. And then I, you know, would see her at primary stages, and I followed her career. I am just thrilled for her.
Does she beat Laurie Metcalf?
See, that's hard because she does a great job. I mean, Laurie Metcalf is wonderful. I don't know, in this case, they do this with the Oscars, that sometimes they'll give an award to someone for their body of work, or she's 96, this might be the last time, you know, whatever. So I don't know. It's again, it's hard to say, but I'm just amazed a 96-year-old can go on stage and memorize a play. So there you go. Because a lot of actors drop out much younger.
Yeah.
For sure.
And do film instead.
And the memory.
Yes.
You know, look, did she wear an assistive device? Maybe, who knows? But you still have to do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Laurie Metcalf was really good.
She was great. I don't think I've ever not liked her. And one time I met her, I was at a party for something else, and she was there, and I was surprised. I'm always surprised when actors are near my height, especially when I look up to them, because they seem to loom so. And she had been rehearsing for, I think she was rehearsing for, was it Misery? And I just went up and said hi. I said, I just want to tell you I love your work, and how are your rehearsals? I hope your rehearsals are going well. And she looked at me, she goes, oh, it's hard. I was, first of all, I was so flattered that she shared that with me, but it also reminded me that she's human.
Yeah.
It's like hard doing this
Yeah.
stuff,
You know, I almost once I waited outside to get an autograph because I knew the kid. It's
Yeah.
No, it was Charles Franklin, and local performer, done a lot of Broadway. His mom Lisa is a vocal
Lisa
placement performer,
Franklin.
right?
Yeah,
It's her
of course.
son. I'm like, your mother would have killed me if I didn't stay.
Yeah,
So I'm here to,
that's
But
right.
for whatever happened, we were with another couple. We fell into staying after Death of a Salesman, and I said to the actor whose name escapes me, who played the son, I go, "How do you do a 2-show day?" And he looked at me. He goes, "With a lot of coffee."
Almost like when we were talking to our guest Luke Monday from Moulin Rouge, she's saying like you essentially don't have much of a life. And I was listening to a Broadway interview yesterday about the people from Titanic, and they're like, yeah, when we first started on Broadway, we like never went out, and we're like, we're so sheltered and having to be prepared for the shows. And when we did Titanic, we're like, we're not going to be like that. We're going to live our lives. And as soon as we started working on it, it's like, we can't. We literally cannot sing these songs from Celine Dion and then go out and drink and have a social life.
I saw that when it was off Broadway, when it was in that downstairs thing, and they were running around. I don't know if they still do that on Broadway, but there was a lot of movement, maybe because it was a smaller stage. Yeah, it's funny. I know that director too, so I went to see it. I'm so happy for him, so thrilled for him, because he's been working on that show for a long
You know what
time.
else is going to be a real tough one is best performance by an actress in a featured role in a musical. You've got Shoshana Bean in The Lost Boys, Hannah Cruz in Chess, Rachel Dratch in The Rocky Horror, Anna Gasteyer in Ragtime, and Nichelle Lewis. Excuse me, Anna Gasteyer in Schmigadoon.
Yes.
Hello. And Nichelle Lewis in Ragtime.
Yeah.
What do you think, Helene?
I don't know. I don't know. Again, depending on the voters, are they going to look, oh, well, Ragtime, of course, because of this, or, well, Schmigadoon is valid too. I'm just happy the two SNL actors. I've been seeing Rachel Dratch do a lot of Broadway. I mean, that Anna, I knew she had an amazing voice because they would write that in the show. So, and I'm happy for both of them. That's interesting. I don't know. You're the one who saw both the shows. So what do you think?
Who do you give the vote to if it was up to you? Forget about the rest of them.
Okay, but I know, but I feel that when I don't see the performances.
I think that Nichelle Lewis's role was much more complicated.
Yes.
Than Anna Gasteyer. She was wonderful, but the role is written as a caricature, which she plays beautifully. She plays it like it's real, which is its own challenge.
Right. Yes.
We'll see. And you didn't see either one, right, Ellen?
I saw Ragtime, but I have not seen Schmigadoon.
What'd you think about Nichelle Lewis?
Unfortunately, I saw her understudy that day, so I can't weigh in on that one. But her understudy was fabulous.
I was hoping to see an understudy in one of the roles. Carrie Conti is a local performer who years ago, I think she may have still been in high school. I got to share the stage with her when we did Follies. Beautiful person, inside and out, and a voice like an angel. And she's, I was hoping that she would be filling in for somebody that day. And she's come through with a tour. She came through with White Christmas many years ago.
Oh yeah,
And she just sent out a list of the dates that she's going to be in the show,
nice.
which is always fun, when you see local folks. What are we moving on to, Ellen?
How about featured actor in a play? We've got Christopher Abbott in A Death of a Salesman, Danny Bernstein in Majorie Prime, Brandon J. Durden in Waiting for Godot, Alden Ehrenreich in Becky Shaw, Ruben Santiago Hudson in Come and Gone, and Richard Thomas in the Ballisters, which I haven't even heard of that one. I didn't see any of those shows, unfortunately.
I know that the Ballisters has been getting a lot of, I've seen a lot of ads, and they've been getting a lot of notice. I don't know, because I'll see Death of a Salesman Sunday. Thrown in my answer.
Okay, so we can't weigh in much
That's
on.
tough, and it's interesting that the actors from those plays are not necessarily the most commercial plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about then actor in a featured role in a musical? We've got Ali Lewis Berzugi in The Lost Boys, Andre DeShields in Cats, Bryce Pinkham in Chess, Ben Levy Ross in Ragtime, and Leighton Williams in Titanic.
Yeah,
It's interesting with Chess. It was a flawed play, musical initially. Some think that the redo was better, some think it was worse. But wow, the voices on that stage.
Well, and I think that was one of the surprises of the year that Chess didn't get. I mean, it didn't get a revival nod. It
Right.
didn't get Leah Michele a nomination, which she's still trying for that.
Right. And she's leaving and they're closing.
Yeah,
So obviously she was a draw.
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Where she lands next, who knows? You know that Aaron Tveit he'll land somewhere.
Yeah.
Mm.
Any thoughts about that category? Anybody?
Yeah.
I think those are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Did
just looking.
either of you see The Lost Boys? We haven't talked about The Lost Boys at all.
No.
Oh yeah. So that's the other one tied with the most nominations. So
Yeah, as I said, I was just surprised with that, because I didn't even know anybody, because everybody was wanting to see the other ones, even in my circles. So I didn't hear about I didn't hear anybody seeing Schmigadoon or Lost Boys, so I have even no context of saying, well, my friend loved it. So
Well, this friend did.
yes,
But it was Schmigadoon. But so 12 nominations, that's nothing to sneeze at for both
No.
Lost Boys and Schmigadoon, followed by 11 with Ragtime. Death of a Salesman got 9, Jellicle Ball got 9, Rocky Horror 9, Carry a Cake 8, Oedipus 7, Joe Turner, Come and Gone 5, The Ballisters 5. You're right, Ballisters sort of snuck in there, Ellen. Chess got 5 nominations, but none of the biggies. So it'll, and Little Bear Ridge Road got one, which Laurie Metcalf had appeared in just prior to taking over the role, doing the role in Death of a Salesman. I mean, just for all that, she deserves a Tony.
Yeah, sometimes that's what I'm saying. I wonder, like, a lot of times in the Oscars, they'll give it to someone who should have gotten the award like 2 movies ago, but didn't. So they make it up, or, okay, well, they've done all this work, so it'll be interesting to see, where it goes. Yeah, it's hard when you have all the talent, like just even picking up Stephanie Shu from Rocky Horror. She gave such an amazing performance as Janet. But it's also hard. Sometimes the most brilliant comedy, there's still a snobbery with a good comedy against like a heavy drama. And it is a rock musical, but she was great. I saw Beaches. I wasn't necessarily going to, but a friend of mine took me to see it. She's a reviewer. And the thing is, I can see where it had, I'm sorry it didn't keep going. There were a couple parts that had the writing problems. like when a character decides to do something and you're like, wait a minute, where did that come from? I didn't see this develop. But the two leads, especially the one doing the Bette Midler, were incredible. And the two young girls were incredible.
So we only have 2 minutes left. So
okay. Wow, that
quick
went
thoughts.
fast.
I know it goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Quick thoughts. What are both of your picks for best musical, best play, best revivals? Where do you think it's going?
Gotta hit it, Helene.
I hope, Ragtime's considered a revival, right?
Yeah.
I'm going for that. Best play. I feel like I have to hear them again. I don't know. You chime in. Let me think about it.
It's all yours, dear.
Why? Because
You're our guest.
You know what? I don't know. I don't have a feeling for.
Then you know what? That's a great place to leave this.
I'm ready to be open. Yeah, I'm going to a
That's
party
it.
and watch
the show.
Exactly. It's on Sunday night, hosted by Pink. Interesting choice. There's sure to be a good time. There's going to be the Book of Mormon performing for their 15th anniversary. So check it out and comment. Let us know what you think. Thanks, everybody. Sorry for the rushed ending, Helene.
Love you. Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I'm Ellen Cripps.
And I'm Benita Zahn. See you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Everything Theater podcast. Special thanks goes out to Alice Grinling for our photography and Justin Friello for composing our amazing theme song. Please remember to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you want to share your thoughts or what's going on in your theater community, you can reach out to us on social media or through our email at everythingtheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Till next time, it's everything, everything, everything.